You goddamn animals. You sons of bitches. You kept writing in the comments. Haha, can't wait for Superman 64. Superman 64, that's going to be terrible. Can't wait to see it. Well, here it is. Superman 64, officially known as Superman The New Adventures. Goddamn animals.
Released in 1999, this was developed and published by our old buddies at Titus Software. The Key Guys. This game, there's not a lot to say that you probably don't already know. But it's based on the cartoon, and it's infamous. Let's get into it.
Surprise, surprise, the graphics suck. I'm going to apologize right off the bat for this entire video, because I know I'm probably going to curse more than I usually do. I'm going to try and stay calm, but let's go over these graphics. Number one, the draw distance is absolutely shitty. I mean, we're talking like Turok shitty. It's comparable at the very least. Number two, the game itself, the way the colors and everything is rendered and like the very lack of textures and shit, this looks like a beta release for any other friggin' game. And I don't want to hear shit because it was a third-party developer. There are good examples of third-party developers on the N64. Other than that, all the sprites look pretty goddamn blurry. The detail's not there. I know they were really trying to go for the cartoon version of Superman, but it just fucking fails. I'm sorry. It looks like shit. The only thing I give it credit for is that the frame rate stays pretty close to 30 even during the flying sections. But hey, did I mention the glitches? Well, I know it's not really graphical, but I'm sorry, when I'm stuck in the wall or under the ground half the fucking time, and I'm seeing dead space or fucking... Ugh! It's terrible. With that being said, our scores, I gave it a 3, Jim gave it a 4, and you'll see this being a recurring pattern. I was much tougher on this game. I didn't have the stomach to sit through many levels, and since this was Jim's goddamn fault that we're in this Superman bullshit, I made him go through much further of the game. As far as beer, you know what? I'm going with my score here. 3 beers right off the bat.
Ew, the sound. There's basically 2 music tracks in the whole game. They're not great. I guess it's maybe a short clip that might have been somewhere in the cartoon, but... holy crap, is it bland and generic. It sucks! And it just drones on and on and on. There's so few, very, very few instances of actual voiceovers in the game as well. And the sound effects are so bare bones and almost stock. Like, I've heard them in other games. It's just a very, very weak package as far as sound goes. We both gave it 2s. And as far as beer goes, screw it. I'll throw in 2 beers for 2 songs. Why not?
Son of a bitching control. Okay, I've technically played games with worse control. I'll say that off the bat. But this game is like a pubic hair above some of those rougher games. Let's get it out of the way. The flying. It sucks. Jim could handle it much better because he spent most of his childhood playing Star Fox 64 and a lot of other flying simulating games. And even him, it was rough for him. So for me, someone who barely ever played it, half my time was spent crashing into the ground, falling underwater, yada yada yada. And let's not forget, if you want to land, you have to hit the Z button to come down and then hit it again to fully land. When you're on the ground, you're gonna wish you were flying again because you run like you got a kryptonite dick up your ass. And what the fuck? You hit super speed? I'm sorry, it doesn't actually go faster. You just have some blurry shit behind you now. Other than that, they use the C buttons way too much on a controller that, let's face it, none of us like using the C button on the N64. You gotta use them for your powers, and fun fact, if you hit down C, that's your block. Jim went through 90% of the game not even knowing that was an option.
I had no idea. Didn't even stumble on it.
And for some weird reason...
would have helped.
And for some weird reason, Superman has this goofy moon landing style jump. You can fly. Why are you going to waste time jumping? Other than that, the hitting sucks. Everything feels super stiff, except for flying that goes way too friggin' fast. With all that being said, I gave it a 2. Jim gave it a 3. I'm sorry, I'm adding our 3 beers. This motherfucker's getting drunk over this game tonight.
The gameplay. Alright, let's get it out of the way. I think the ring sections are fun.
No!
I'm sorry.
I missed the keys!
Don't worry, there are keys in this game. They're key cards because Titus Software, God forbid, doesn't have keys hidden throughout levels. God forbid they don't have a game that doesn't involve that. So, I guess playing Star Fox 64 for half of my life kind of helped because I don't mind the ring sections. I didn't have that hard of a time adjusting to it. Sure, you move way too fast, it's very easy to disorient yourself, but it's the best part of the game, and I actually found it fun and kind of relaxing, except for later in the game when you'll be going through keys at least for 5 straight minutes. It drags on. But I still found it fun. I liked being Superman and flying around freely for once. I really liked that part of this game. And actually, as far as the actual breakdown of the game, you have a flying section, and then you have a real quick little objective that you have to get done between 10 and 30 seconds. And if you fail that, you have to do the rings again. Because each of those little mini missions are checkpoints, basically. And there's about 4 of them in each section before you get to an actual stage in the game, which you have to run around beating bad guys, saving your friends, stuff like that. It keeps the Superman feel, but the glitches, the awful hit detection, the terrible controls, just how hard the game is. It's so hard even on easy. The boss battles, unless they glitch out, good luck beating anyone. Or, well, maybe using the block button would have helped. But the game itself is it just fails on so many levels where you're praying to get to a key, or fucking keys, goddamn you, Titus. You're praying to get to a ring section. So to break down our scores, Brian gave it a 1, I gave it a 3. Oh, by the way, there's a multiplayer section. We'll get to that in replayability. I found something to enjoy in this game. Brian didn't find anything. As far as beers go, I'll add another 3 beers for everything about this game other than the rings.
Son of a fuck. I don't want to give this game any credit, but the originality. This is the first technically open world, even though you're pretty much directed where you gotta go, where you fly around as Superman. And we haven't seen a Superman game that you have to basically fly through rings like a goddamn flying simulator. This is the first Superman game with any multiplayer aspects to it. I really want to ding it on that. Other than that, though, if you've played any type of open world objective game, especially for the N64, it's nothing new. With that being said, we still kept it at a 3. We might have been letting our hate overdrive some of the fairness in this score, but if we're really honest, there's not that much new here. And besides, fuck this game. So, as far as beers, I'm throwing another 2 on, just for the fact that fucking rings.
Brian, I like the rings. Ow. Alright, replayability. At first, we were going to just ding this game for just being linear and being very hard. And it's hard for all the reasons we've listed. And we totally bonered out and didn't even realize there was a multiplayer until we were looking up just the year and publisher information for this. So we played it. It's got 2 modes. You have this weird race mode where one guy is making rings, again with the rings, and another guy's like flying through it, but the guy making the rings can also try and kill the guy trying to go through the rings.
Don't try and explain it, it's dog shit.
I'm trying to explain what we experienced, but we don't know what we were doing. We never figured it out. And there's also a straight up combat mode where there's 3 levels from the game, and you run around trying to kill each other. It's damn near impossible unless you just stay still and shoot at each other and see who has the quickest fingers. It's good luck with that one. But we do it with most games. It's got a multiplayer mode. We gotta be fair. So it gets the minimum 5 from us. And as far as beers go, I'm gonna add 4 beers for the race level and for the 3 different battle levels.
Overall, we commonly defend games that most people friggin' hate or talk way too much shit on. And this is a game we're semi-torn on, because number one, it is absolutely god-awful. The $8 I paid on Amazon to get this game, I'm kicking myself in the ass just because I did that. I can't stress that enough.
I'll give you 5 for it.
It's yours. Take it. Some people hail this as the worst game ever. It's technically playable. If you're uber drunk with your friends and you're playing that god-awful multiplayer, not that there's much, but there is fragments, shards of fun to have with this game.
You didn't mention the rings yet. Ow! I like it!
Fucking rings! With that being said, we can't stress it enough. Still sucks really, really bad. And as you see from our scores, we both gave it 2s. Now in this event, Jim actually liked this less than he did the Game Boy game, which had keys, which everyone knows is far superior to rings!
Oh god. Oh god! Ah!
So, when we round up everything, it comes to a 2.9, which does beat out the Game Boy game.
Ha!
And the only reason is for that fucking multiplayer. Son of a bitch. We can't stress it enough. Avoid this game. It's not even like as a joke, like play it with your friends. Just avoid it. Even if you're a diehard Superman fan, the only justifiable reason to get this game is if for some unknown reason you want to have a full N64 collection, which, come on, why would you want to do that when there's PS2? Psst.
What?
When it comes to the beer pairing, you know what? I'm going with the same exact beer that I went for the Game Boy game. Natural Light. It's dirt cheap, has almost no flavor, and is considered by a lot of people as one of the worst beers ever. So go out, spend the $18 or whatever it costs, probably less, for a case of this shit beer, and drink yourself stupid if you really want to play this shitty game. But remember to drink your beers and play your games responsibly. As always, guys, thanks for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, or better yet, why not subscribe? Till next time, guys, cheers.